So I'm sitting here uploading videos and I start to have lots of thoughts again about why I can't fit in with anybody. The reason I start having these thoughts is because it's Sunday and I'm getting nervous about going to work tomorrow because of the social aspect. I'm talking to a guy right now and I'm nervous to call him because I don't want to come off as clingy. And all I can think about is I don't know who I am. I don't know how to connect with anybody because I don't have an identity. And it's a really scary thought that I don't have an identity. I don't know who I am. A lot of people don't know that I'm having this thought. But I think I've come to an answer. I'm losing my identity. I went to Google and I typed in don't know my identity, and a lot of really helpful pages came up, and I went on one that had a title, I don't know who I am anymore, losing my identity. It was written in 2014, and I'm just going to read what it says because I identify with every single sentence down to a T in this paragraph. So here it goes. This week I have been thinking a lot about the significance of identity. Identity is a grouping of attributes, qualities, and values that define how we view ourselves and perhaps how we think other people see us. Identity can be formed from the labels we place upon ourselves, the roles we undertake, the activities we complete. I might see myself as a woman, a girl, a wife, a mother, an employee, but my identity is shaped from much, much more. My identity helps me to connect with others, my sense of self, my core, the sense of who I really am. How long do you lose your identity? Or how do you lose your identity? Losing your identity can be a long process over a period of months or years, but can also happen suddenly following a major life event or trauma. Loss of identity may follow all sorts of changes in the workplace, loss of a job or profession, loss of a role that once defined us as a child, as a parent, as a spouse. And this leaves a gap, an abyss, an empty space. Such loss of identity can result in increased levels of generalized anxiety, low self-esteem, depression, a loss of self-confidence, social anxiety, isolation, chronic loneliness, all of which threaten our ability to connect with other people. What's scary is that I am suffering from everything they just listed. And that's a fucked up person right there. You can also lose your identity through the gradual merging in a relationship. A healthy relationship should be reciprocal in encouraging and maintaining an individual sense of self. After all, that surely should be what attracted partners to each other in the first place. We might lose some identity, even in the most healthy of relationships, as we accommodate, adjust our behaviors, and support our partners. And there may be some change in our level of independence, as a small level of codependency may set in. However, in some relationships, particularly abusive ones, this could be more marked, resulting in a virtual annihilation of independence and a total loss of who you are. I wouldn't say that I was in any abusive relationships, unless you want to say that I was the one being abused mentally and emotionally. The word vulnerability or word vulnerable is written all over me, and when it comes to having relationships with certain guys, I end up with the wrong ones. I end up with ones who aren't trying to commit to me and who end up just using me for sex. And I always make it a point to say that Gabe wasn't like that. Gabe was a good guy, and I became overly jealous. I let my insecurities ruin everything. And that's not to say that he was the perfect guy. but a lot of why we are together is definitely on my part. Back to the article. When we lose our identity and sense of self, we are likely to seek our sense of self from others. It suddenly becomes very important how others view us, as our sense of value and self-worth, our feelings of confidence, are dependent on external factors such as our physical appearance, success, status, money, and even fame. As a result, we seek reassurance and praise from others to feel okay about ourselves. But in reality, our emotional well-being depends on how we feel about ourselves. I don't love myself, and I especially don't love the way that I look. And so I will focus on my looks way too much, and it distracts me from the real world, I guess, and what I'm supposed to be doing with my life. But when someone tells me I'm pretty, I feel like I've finally accomplished the looks, even though I secretly still don't think that I'm beautiful. So many people tell me that I'm beautiful and I'm pretty, and I get hit on a lot. But that clearly isn't the answer to my problem. It's only part of the problem. Our sense of self, our identity, should not come from what others think about us, how we look, or how we behave. Yet we worry about being judged or measured by others, and falling short of their requirements, and so put on an act, a facade, a mask. We all do it at times, present the best self out there, when inside we may be feeling very different to the real me hiding underneath. And this is what I'm about to say is where the problem lies. When this is happening all the time, 24/7, constant, it's a problem. And this is happening to me 24/7. I don't feel like I can lead a healthy, normal life because of everything I just said. And it never stops for me. No matter how many times someone tells me I am smart and I can do this, or that I'm a pretty girl, I just don't believe them. And I'm really scared. Such dependency on external validation prevents the real you from being out there and impacts on personal growth, as well as the opportunity for happiness. Low self-esteem can be linked to issues from the past, from childhood, and from parental neglect, from abuse, from trauma, from childhood bullying, and this often shapes how we view ourselves and then how we interact with others. These feelings can be re-triggered by major life events. Bless me. Bless me. These feelings can be re-triggered by major life events or a change in life circumstances. Hopefully I don't sneeze anymore. There can be a longing for social acceptance and reassurance from others, to be noticed, to be loved, to be wanted and needed, to be cared about. Probably not the last one. If you have low self-esteem, you may not like yourself very much, and there is a tendency to seek your self-worth from external sources and relationships that become increasingly important and sometimes unhealthy in order to make us happy. Once again, this is so true. I do feel like I was neglected a little bit growing up. I think I have to sneeze again. And that can have a lot to do with feeling loved and feeling cared about. to be an attention seeker, but it turns out that I always, crave attention. That's how it comes off. It's because I didn't receive attention. And I want to be noticed. I have low self-esteem, and a lot of times I don't think I have a life or a lot going on. And so, I focus on getting into a relationship, and because one, I think that'll make me happy, and two, it'll make me have a life. I do care about the person, but I don't think I know what real love is, or how to really love somebody. And it does become increasingly important. And at first, it starts off great, and then, it goes sour. And that's when it becomes unhealthy. And that's when I don't know how to walk away. Not that I don't know how, but I choose not to. Because I do feel like things will change and I'll be happy again, just like I was. So I don't walk away when I should. And I end up getting hurt in the end. Psychotherapy and counseling and rediscovering your identity. The most important relationship you will ever have is with yourself. Your emotional well-being depends on how you feel about you and a result of the relationship you have within yourself. Awareness that you have lost your identity is one of the first steps toward finding it again. Psychotherapy and counseling can help you answer, who am I? Through psychotherapy and counseling, you have the opportunity to explore who you are, what has made you into you, define your own qualities and attributes, and no longer rely on the external validation of others. This can help you to lose the labels that you have hung around your neck, halt your pursuit for external recognition, and find your true identity. Will the real you please stand up? Hashtag self-awareness, hashtag identity, hashtag self-esteem. Currently, I am in therapy, and after reading this and after being able to identify with it so much, I really do hope that I have discovered my main issue, and that with my therapist, I hope that I can fully recover. One thing that terrifies me the most is the chronic loneliness. I don't like being lonely, but somehow I end up isolating myself and pushing people away. And that makes me fear, for the fact that I might die alone. Nobody wants to die alone. I want somebody there with me. I want to live a life with somebody. But, you can hear that I have issues, and who's going to want to marry somebody with as many issues as me? It's usually labeled as crazy or bipolar, and, those are names that I've received, and I don't necessarily think that I have a disorder that's serious. I think it has a lot to do with me not knowing my identity. So, please tell me your thoughts and opinions on everything you've heard. Please subscribe as well if you can relate to any of these videos. My next video will be on the same topic, but a different discussion.